Hey guys, welcome to T.F.P English. We are here with another class about simple present, habits and general information. Something that is super important at the moment of learning English, guys, because we use it all the time. But let's learn how to use it. So let's begin with the video. Okay guys, well, after this great presentation, it's time to start with simple present to talk about habits and general information, guys. Well, it's super common, super normal to talk about our plans, what do we like, especially here on these two topics. Habits, when you talk about like your routine, what do you do every day, probably not every day, but the things that you do during the week or things that you normally do, right? Well, first of all, guys, let me tell you that this video is gonna be like divided in different videos because, well, this topic is so big. So we're gonna start with habits and general information, right? Obviously, I'm gonna start with affirmative form because that's the first thing, the first step you need to learn about the person, well, the subject pronouns, and first, second, third persons. That's something very common on this topic. Well, first of all, guys, we have to understand these functions, right? One of these functions is habits. Habits, when you talk about your routines, etc. And general information is like where you live, what you like, where you study, what you don't like, etc., etc., etc. So, guys, let's begin with the structure. I'm going to start with affirmative. I'm going to start with subject, verb in simple present. Guys, please remember this. Super important that you remember or start listening about simple present and different forms of verbs. Well, I'm going to talk about that in another video, right? And the complement, right? Let's begin with the subjects I, you, we, and they. Right, guys? Well, let's see that we have first person, we have second person, singular and plural. That's super important to remember, right? When you got these subjects, the verb needs to be in simple present. Let's say simple form. And they say, why are you saying like simple form like this? Well, it's because when you talk about simple present, guys, you have two forms. The first, the second, well, there are three forms, I'm sorry. The first, the second, and the third person. Here we have first, second, singular and plural, and here we have the third person. So when you use the verb in first and second person, let's say that it's in the normal form. Like in this case, it says you work in Coca-Cola. So we are following the same structure. The person, the action, and the complement. Super important. We study English. The same. We study English. It's the same thing. I love pizza. For example, on those two, I'm talking about something that, let's say that is like part of our routine. Because we can say, well, you work in Coca-Cola. I'm describing your routine or my routine. I work in Coca-Cola, I work in this company, etc. So we study English, something that we do probably not all the week. Probably we study English on weekends or on Fridays, depending. Here, we're going to connect with more information on another video, guys. For example, here, I'm talking about my general information. I love pizza. You say, well, I don't like pizza or I like pizza, right? Talking about general and habits. Something that we need to be careful here is when you use the third person form. Why? Why we gotta be careful? Why? Well, simple. Because if you see here, when you use the subjects, the verbs are normal. If you want to see it like that. But here we have to make some modification to the verb. To the verbs, I'm sorry. For example, if the verb finishes on, or in this case, O, C, H, S, H, X, S, the ending will be ES. Like, for example, here, the verb go, say goes. Watch, watches, wash, washes, fix, fixes, dress, dresses, go, goes. So if the verb has this ending, you need to add ES in the end, right? And here we have other curious thing. We have the letter Y. If a verb finishes with Y, you gotta be careful because you have two options. Option number one, when you have a vowel. You know the vowels, right? You know the vowels. Tell me you know the vowels. You know the vowels, man. So, you have vowels here. Y, so you just add the S. That's it. For example, here, place. We have a vowel here, so we have the Y. We have just the S, right? But what happens if we have a consonant here? You know the consonants, guys, right? You know the consonants. I don't have to repeat that, right? Come on, guys. So, if you have a consonant before, guys, remember these two rules are before. If the vowel is before, you need to use, like in this case, just the S, the vowel. You have the vowel before, just use S, right? But if you have a consonant before, eliminate Y, change by IES. Like for example, fly, you say flies with IES. Simple, right? I try to make these videos as simple as possible, right? Because, well, this topic is so extensive, guys. Believe me, this topic is like proof. At least I'm gonna make like 20 videos about simple present, guys. But this is like the first introduction, something that's very easy that you can understand. Well, guys, if you want to take notes, if you want to take a photo, screenshot, whatever, you can do it now. Great, guys. I hope you had taken that photograph, right? Please, guys, remember the structure. Remember that we have first and second, singular and plural. You know, remember with these subjects, the verb is normal, and here he, she, it, third person, we have these rules. What is gonna happen with the other verbs that do not belong to these categories? Well, they just use s. For example, the verb clean, cleans. The verb, for example, let me think. Well, not wash, because I was thinking about wash, but wash is with sh, you know. But for example, eat, the verb eat, eats, just with s. Simple as that, right? Remember that the verbs that are not on this in this rule, or not taking part of this rule, they're using just the s. Very simple, guys. I'm sorry if I'm like like crazy right now, but I'm very happy because after a long time, I came back to make more videos, guys, for you. I promise you that I'm gonna be like more here. I'm gonna try to be more here on this channel, you know. But okay, guys, so that's all for today. See you soon in another class. Study.